I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years.
This seems like a scene in a movie.
Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
As you recall, there were quite a few stopping points, and nobody can ever call a bottom. There were a couple of times where you said you thought some of those levels would hold. I'm not sure if it matters that they didn't hold on the long term, because here we are. So you're 30. We may have gone to 16, but when you said it was going to hold at 30, I think you were, maybe you can claim victory there. You were wrong, but now it's back, and it's back at 30. It is really hard for people to understand what causes Bitcoin to go from 67,000 back to 16 and now back to 30. But that's what we've seen through the history of Bitcoin.
Well, listen, I think going from 60 on its way down happened because Chairman Powell got really aggressive on interest rates.
Right.
So that made sense to me. I think the last bit, I don't know if it was 25 to 16 or 30 to 16, was this collection of frauds and risk management mistakes that our whole industry had to wash out of the system. And that took out lots of leverage. It took out lots of bad actors and left the market at the beginning of the year where anyone who had to sell had already sold. And so we're having a pretty constructive rally based on a bunch of things. One is the market is pretty certain that Chairman Powell is finished or close to finished, right? We're heading into a credit crunch in the United States, and gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those assets that will do well in a slowdown are telling us something. The second is adoption, right? There are 180 million people that own a piece of a Bitcoin, and that number grows every year. And we're seeing aggressive moves in Hong Kong and Abu Dhabi and Dubai to set up regulatory frameworks to attract crypto, right as the U.S. is fighting against it. And so we're seeing a lot of Asian money move in. You're seeing some hedge funds in the United States participate in the futures market. But it's really got a story for the first time in a while.
So curious if you could help us with this. The money that's flowed back into Bitcoin is not what necessarily would be described as new money, insofar as not necessarily new investors, that a lot of these are established investors who've already been in the world of crypto before. What does that mean? Is that correct from what you know, that effectively it's folks who invested in Bitcoin before now doubling down as opposed to new money?
I think I would put it 75-25 or 80-20. Yes, I said this earlier. This has been a crypto-led move. But remember how the system works, right? It's about bringing people into the tent. And so as price goes up, every crypto owner is reaching out to his friends or colleagues and saying, hey, you got to get in on this. And so the adoption cycle always accelerates when the price is going up. And we're seeing that. But it really has been a crypto-led rally, right? It's not that we're seeing, big U.S.-based institutions coming in and saying, give me a bunch of that. We are seeing hedge funds, right? Macro hedge funds and multi-strat hedge funds are participating.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, some people would say, okay, this is a healthy version of this. This is actually this is uniquely healthy because it's folks who know crypto, who've been in crypto before. It's not sort of new quick money on one end, and others would say this is completely unhealthy because this is a group of people who already owned. I've heard people argue there's a manipulation going on in a world that is a tight-knit group of people who are trying to push the price up. Which is
it's very hard to manipulate $1 trillion market. Maybe teach me how one day. But these are big markets, and so some of the small coins you can manipulate, I would guess. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, it would be very difficult to do. Listen, in some ways, you have to look at this. We're at 30,000 and 1,900, despite the U.S. issuing Coinbase and Paxos Wells notices, all this regulatory attack. Despite all that, the market's going higher.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have Mike Novogratz on CNBC. And we know anytime Bitcoin makes a big move, of course, he gets the tap. And we know he's not going to tell us the whole truth. And guys, we know the reason why Bitcoin and crypto is pumping right now is because of the Fed. Yes, the interest rates moved up, and of course, Bitcoin and cryptos moved down. But Bitcoin and cryptos are moving up right along with interest rates. And we know the Fed pumped the market in order to take care of these bank failures that they caused. And we know they've been preparing for this for over 10 years. So we know the Fed and BlackRock are the whales. Remember, BlackRock came in at around 17,000. And we know Aladdin is undefeated. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
There's a song, by the way, you can go listen to right now that sounds like Jay-Z. It's a new song that's been floating around for the past week. I mean, you would think it is Jay-Z. They effectively sampled his voice, but not sampled his voice the way we used to sample, rhythms and voices. And the question is, should Jay-Z be paid for that or not?
I'm sure.
And for so long, artists would hear other music and they would try to do music. Someone would say, "Oh, that sounds like a Michael Jackson song," or "That sounds like a Taylor Swift song," whatever. But it isn't. This is different.
I'm sure Jay-Z will want his money. There's an unannounced product that you can record your own voice for 15 seconds.
Yes, I played with a stealth version of this literally this weekend. It was mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
So what did you do? You recorded yourself 15 minutes, and what did you cast yourself into? 15 seconds? What did you
And
cast
then you
yourself
could type anything, and out came my voice.
The demo I saw was my friend's voice in Martin Luther King's "I Had a Dream" speech. It was chilling.
Chilling.
Right.
And so, but from a policy perspective, though, and this goes to, I think, the Elon Musk of it all and the folks who are saying maybe there should be a timeout. Part of the timeout isn't just about the technology. It's about having policy catch up with it.
It's not a good idea to time out and let your competitors win. It's much better to get the policy people to work on this.
I'm not suggesting there's time
now.
out. The question is, where are we on the policy? Because I'm not even sure. I mean, we all know about it a little bit here, but we probably know a lot more than people in Washington do about this.
The industry has working groups working really hard on this, which I've met with. The government doesn't understand yet. And that's okay. It's so new. It's happening so fast. Remember, ChatGPT got 100 million users, in 2 months. Gmail took 5 years.
So, Eric, I talked about 35 years ago. Okay, let's go 35 years ago.
You're still upset about symbolics.
No, I'm talking about Ray Kurzweil, Werner Ving. Have you read Fire?
Yes.
So you've read that.
Yeah.
Fiction? Is there any way we're approaching the singularity where, in the terms of Ray Kurzweil?
Yeah, Ray talks about the singularity, which was estimated in 2040s, which is the point at which computers can evolve faster than humans.
Yeah.
It could happen. It's science fiction today, but it
he's
goes.
Brought that date in, Eric.
It goes something like this: these systems, which today don't have memory, they get confused, they get hallucinated, and so forth. Eventually, if they can feed themselves information. So here's a good example: tell the system, work really hard to learn everything about the world, and feed it into yourself. So it learns and it learns and it learns and it learns, and you could eventually get that. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Well, along with the singularity could come immortality, according to Ray Kurzweil.
Well, your voice, Andrew, is going to be with us forever.
Oh, no. Eric, I remember it well, the revolution in CAD, CAM, CAE. Back in the Route 128, I was back there, and all those companies. This sounded like a description of the next generation: computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, computer-aided engineering. We're just doing the same thing. It's much better. It's much more advanced. But is it quantum different? Is it?
Yes.
It is.
It is.
Is there a sentient being on the horizon in our lifetime?
Let me tell you right now,
Yes.
It's not alive, it's not conscious, it's not sentient.
Will it be?
It just looks like it. Okay, all it's doing is predict multi-scale systems,
So it's not,
which is very useful in science. There are many multi-scale systems in biology and chemistry. This will lead to huge breakthroughs, for example, in drugs, for example. We were talking about Moderna and so forth. All of these technologies are transformative at that level. We don't know. The biggest issues will be how people interact with these systems. when it becomes your best friend.
About all of the implications, that some of which I can't even begin to think about. But there's a real move afoot, it seems like. We've heard from Elon Musk and so many others in this space to say maybe we should slow down.
And guys, we see the mainstream media at it again, and we know CNBC is the main one. They talk about AI. They talk about Kurzweil. They talk about Singularity Net. If you have my NWO book, you understand. They know the fourth industrial revolution is right around the corner. Remember, guys, it's the same way they talked about the internet. And then it's the same way they talked about crypto, NFTs. It's the same way now that they're talking about AI. And we know AI is the last step, guys, to transhumanism. We know once this is fully implemented, these bots will know you better than you know yourself. And we know it's going to be man versus machine. And we know eventually the masses are going to want to be a part of the machines. Yes, this sounds like a movie, but remember, guys, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And the whole point of my NWO book, so therefore, guys, you understand that this was planned before you were even born. And basically, once you read the book, you can connect the dots. So therefore, you can see the NWO has planned out your life. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows, when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
It's Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.